What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So, I had to make this video, and let me just start off with this disclaimer. Oh shit. Anytime I have a disclaimer, you know what it means. Like, hey, don't be mad at me, but I gotta tell you something. And there's always some bad shit. So, I'm gonna make this video. I don't really care. I don't really give a fuck. I don't say what's popular. I say what's on my mind and what I really feel. And I want to talk about Wladimir Klitschko, kind of do this comparison, if you will, to a hated fighter, which is Floyd Mayweather. And I have no problem with Wladimir Klitschko. I think him and his brother are dominant, but I also think the talent pool at heavyweight is not what it was in the 90s. It's not what it was in the 80s, the 70s, and so forth. So, for that reason, I think they've been dominant. And more so, Wladimir Klitschko as opposed to Vitaly, because he was a little bit more experienced, and I consider him the better of the two. Um, Now, I don't know what it is, but let me tell you how this came about. First of all, I was out and about, and I didn't get to see Wladimir Klitschko fight today or yesterday, and people were texting me and telling me it was like a shutout. He was fighting Alex Lepai, and I decided to watch it. So the link will be in the description. I decided to watch it. I just watched that fucking bullshit, horrific fight. And again, this is not Klitschko's fault. He fought a mandatory. But do you guys know what the fucking word mandatory means? Read it, like look up in the dictionary what the word mandatory means. How the fuck was this guy his mandatory? That just lets you know the sanctioning bodies, and there's too many belts and all kinds of stuff. This guy fought Klitschko and literally fought the wrong fight from the opening bell to the point where he got destroyed in the fifth round. And he literally did nothing. I mean, I don't claim to be a professional fighter or anything like that, but I'm 6'4", 6'5", and I think I could have did a fucking better job than he did. And he's supposed to be this devastating puncher and trained professional and shit. And I honestly think, like, even if Klitschko knocked me the fuck out, at least I'm gonna land something. And this Alex Lepai, yeah, that name's apt. That dude was pie. That's what he was. He was whack. And the thing I don't understand, like I said, maybe it's race in America. Maybe some people just have such a hatred for Floyd Mayweather that everything they do he hates, and other fighters do the same thing and it's gospel. But I don't understand why Wladimir Klitschko doesn't get put on the hot seat, and then you get Mayweather and he does. Now, let's take a look at both fighters, and in this video, again, I'm going to say some things you guys might not like, but prove me wrong. That's all I ask. If what I'm saying is not valid, then prove me wrong. Now, if you're going to prove me wrong, the only catch is this. You got to prove me wrong with boxing fact, not opinion, not speculation on, oh, you think this. Use actual facts like dates, times, people, places, nouns, shit like that. Now, if you look at Wladimir Klitschko's last couple of fights, who has he beat? Like, who has he really fought? Like, honestly, who has he really fought? I understand he defended his title 20,000 times. That's cool. I understand he hasn't lost in a while. That's cool. But Alex Lepai, who the fuck is that? Like, who has he beat to become a mandatory? Before that, Alexander Povetkin. Okay, he was a puncher. They say he was a devastating puncher, and he didn't show up the night of the fight. And his claim to fame was beating a washed-up Hasim Rahman, who got destroyed by Lennox Lewis in the rematch after after he knocked Lennox Lewis out. That was probably Hasim Rahman's biggest win, I guess you could say, when he knocked out Lennox Lewis. And from my knowledge, from everything I heard, Lennox Lewis was filming Ocean's 11, and he didn't arrive in Africa or South Africa, wherever they fought. He arrived like 2 weeks to get acclimated, and he wasn't really training, and he paid for it because he slept on his person, and he got slept for sleeping on Hasim Rahman. It happens, especially in the heavyweight division. So what does Povetkin did? He beat up a washed up Hasim Rahman. Before that, Wladimir Klitschko fought Francisco Payaneta. The fuck has he done? Before that, Maurice Watts. Before that, Tony Thompson. Now, Tony Thompson, he's not a bad fighter, but he's not just a world beater because he beat David Price twice. Who is David Price beat? You know what I'm saying? So it's funny to me that people. I really think some of you guys don't watch boxing because some of you guys talk like, oh, the Klitschko's, they're so dominant, and you guys pay homage and pay respect, which is cool. I don't have a problem with that. But you got to keep in mind they're not fighting anybody. They're fighting a bunch of stiffs. There's not really a lively division. The heavyweight division is not really lively. It's starting to come along. You got people like Bryant Jennings, you got Deontay Wilder, you got Tyson Fury, and these are all great fights. But some of you guys regard them as if they're beating these. Like, I don't know that any of these guys can beat the Klitschko. I will say that. I don't know if Deontay Wilder, Bryant Jennings, or any of those dudes can beat Wladimir Klitschko, for example. But hell, I would rather see it. I would rather see Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Bryant Jennings, Mike Perez, somebody with some sort of life to him, somebody with a good fight under their belt, like in good sturdy competition. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Alex Lapai, who the fuck is, like, what has he done to make him a mandatory? Like, you must fight this guy. And then he fought, and he fought scared. He fought from the outside. Like, check this out. Klitschko's 6'6". You're 6 foot. What what in your mind makes you feel you could stay on the outside and outbox him when he has that type of reach advantage and this wingspan over you? It just doesn't make any sense. And then like Alex Lapai, he's using like some head movement and like he's like trying to bob and weave, and he's just getting tagged the whole time. Like, you can't. The whole point of head movement is not just to fucking exert energy and move your head like can't catch me, and not do anything. You have to use that in conjunction with offense and throwing punches. You have to throw some jabs out there and work your way in. That's why, man, I really would love to have seen Klitschko in a different era, Wladimir Klitschko, because the people he's lost to, I don't really consider him the end all be all or you know what I mean, like top 10 heavyweights of all time. Corey Sanders, rest in peace. Layman Brewster, I don't consider those guys like just top notch heavyweights. You know what I mean? When I think of memorable heavyweights, I think of like Muhammad Ali's and the Mike Tysons and people like that. Even like the Tommy Morrisons and Lennox Lewis's, I think of guys like that. Ray Mercer's. I don't really think of Corey Sanders. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect. I'm just being real with you guys. So he's lost to people like that. So I really would love to have seen Klitschko in another era. See how he did with like a Larry Holmes. See how he did with the Muhammad Ali. Or hell, I really love to see Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson, a lot of people get it twisted. He wasn't just a puncher. Like, he had some flawless moves in there, like the way he would bob his head and work his way in, and he was very aggressive. And Klitschko likes people to be at the end of his punches, and he likes to control the pace, like most seasoned fighters or older fighters want to do. They want to dictate the pace. Now, Tyson had the ability and the power to disrupt all of that, and he used to find a way on the inside. Like, he was very crafty. I would see him punch to the body and then go upstairs, just do different stuff. Use a jab, great head movement, the peekaboo style. So I think a guy like Klitschko would definitely lose to a Mike Tyson. Some people could argue that Tyson could have problems like he did with Lennox Lewis, who was 6'5", another person who knows how to use a jab. But I don't know. I just don't see why some people are in awe with Klitschko. I think they do what they can do given the situation, and for that I respect him. But I'm not really seeing anything that's world renowned. You know what I mean? Like, when I watch Wladimir Klitschko, it's clinching, it's dictating the pace, using your veteran experience, and it's the same 1-2. You throw out that left jab and then you come over with the right, like 1-2, 1-2, That's what I see when I see Wladimir Klitschko fight. So the other topic of this video is comparing him to a Floyd Mayweather. Now, Floyd Mayweather, you look at his resume, who did he fight last? Canelo Alvarez. People come up with excuses. Oh, Canelo was green. Even though Canelo came back the very next fight and beat the shit out of Angulo, who was a feared puncher, at 154. And he made it look easy. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo's been pro since he was 15, and he was undefeated. And he does have good names under his belt, whether they're the right size, like Josito Lopez or Shane Mosley or whatever. He still has some names in there. Austin Trout was a good win for him. He took a fighter's undefeated record and put that blemish. And people don't give Mayweather credit for it was the 152 catch weight. I honestly think Canelo would have lost at 154 too. Some people say that would have been made all the difference in the world. Nonetheless, he agreed to the weight. The fight happened, and beyond the second or third round, Canelo looked lost in there. He looked clueless. And now when I see Floyd Mayweather fight, some people, oh, you're a Flomo, and they think I'm talking about his fight, his actual skill, his skill set. It's amazing to me how at age 35 or 36, whenever he's fighting these dudes, how he's moving so fluid and causing them to miss and still quick and still sharp in terms of his reflexes. And people don't give credit to that. But they'll give credit to Wladimir Klitschko, who really just wears down people because they can't get on the inside, and he uses his high height and size like he's supposed to, and he just keeps people at bay. And it's very almost robotic, if you will. Just 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You know what I'm saying? Just like he throw out that filler jab, and then he'll come, and then he'll put some power behind it. Like it's just very basic, and people aren't like, they don't give credit, and I just don't understand it. Even look at Robert Guerrero. So Floyd Mayweather before Canelo, he fought Robert Guerrero. Guerrero, at the very least, you could say he was a mandatory too for Floyd Mayweather. So if he didn't fight him, people would say, oh, he's ducking Robert Guerrero. And they fought last year, so 2013. Guerrero hadn't lost a fight since 2005. And then in that loss, it was a split decision loss. And not only that, he rematched the dude and knocked the dude out in like round 5 or 6 or whatever it was. So he avenged that loss. The other one, Orlando Salido, that doesn't count because Orlando Salido was juicing. But anyway, Guerrero hadn't lost in 5 years. He had 2 respectable performances against Selçuk Aydin and Andre Berto at welterweight. And Andre Berto was his most recent before the Mayweather fight. And he looked very good early, and he started to wear down a little bit towards the end, but he clearly won the fight, in my opinion. People don't give Mayweather credit for that performance. Before that, who did Mayweather fight? Miguel Cotto. I mean, I don't really have to even say what Miguel Cotto has done and brought to the sport. So, again, I just wanted to bring up the topic. It's just mind-boggling to me that people shit on Mayweather, even his accomplishments, his recent fights. He's been in the sport for 18 years. He's fought the Diego Corraleses. He's fought the fights that people said he would never take, like the Canelo, the young guys, even fighters like Victor Ortiz, because at the time Victor Ortiz fought Mayweather, you can't look to the future and say, oh, he would lose to Josito Lopez and he lost to Luis Collazo. At the time he fought Mayweather, he was just coming off the Andre Berto win, and I believe he only had 2 losses on his record. One was because he hit a guy while he was down and he was disqualified, but otherwise he would have won that fight for knocking the dude down, and he was winning that fight. And then the other fight was when he quit against Marcos Maidana, who was a respectable puncher, and he just felt he shouldn't be getting beat up or whatever he said. But other than that, Victor Ortiz was young. He's like 6 years, 10 years young. I don't know exactly how much younger he is than Mayweather, but I know he's younger, and he's aggressive. He's a southpaw, and he has power. He's offensive-minded with really 1 loss. I mean, you can count the disqualification as one, but, I mean, at the same token, that's like Roy Jones Jr. and Montel Griffin. In the first fight, Roy Jones, quote-unquote, lost the fight, but he was beating the shit out of Montel Griffin, and he went and rematched him and then knocked him out in the first round with a crazy-ass leaping, lunging hook. So, same thing with Victor Ortiz. He has that other disqualification, but do we really want to count that as a true loss? Anyway, Mayweather keeps fighting guys that are younger and stronger than him and bigger. Versus, you look at Klitschko, Who's he fighting that's bigger than him? Not really anyone. And there's a couple guys who are arguably bigger than him, like Tyson Fury. Well, not even arguably, they are bigger than him, at least in height. Maybe not in the mass or whatever, but like Deontay Wilder, he's 6'7", Klitschko's 6'6". Tyson Fury's like 6'9", and he's big. You know what I mean? And they're not really fighting. So it's funny to me that people, again, shit on Mayweather when he's fighting bigger guys. He's been in the sport for 18 years, yet they praise Klitschko, and his division doesn't really have anyone. And this is not a diss to Klitschko because he can't control who's in his division, but it's just to show and exploit some of you fans and what you put out in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's just something to make you guys think. It's not against Klitschko. I have no problem with Klitschko. I like Klitschko. I just think he gets away with just being a veteran. He has experience and he uses his size ultimately. I don't really see it's not because of skill per se. I mean, there is a level of skill, don't get me wrong, but it's not as skillful as like a Rigondeaux or a Mayweather. Like those guys are winning on skill. Like Rigondeaux beat Nonito Donaire convincingly. Nonito's more experience as a pro and bigger than Rigondeaux. Yet it's Rigondeaux's brain and his skill that allowed him to beat Nonito Donaire versus Wladimir Klitschko. I think he has experience and then just a size that is very difficult to deal with. So I just really want to see Vladimir fight somebody of note. He's getting up there in age. I want to see him fight one of these young, hungry lions like Mayweather does. Mayweather fought Canelo. He's fighting another dangerous fighter in Marcos Maidana, who we know he has bricks for hands. So, I mean, if he can land something, that could be bad for Mayweather. I just want to see somebody like that. I want to see Klitschko fight someone like that. And not someone who's not proven. Like, if you look at it, Alexander Povetkin, they say he's a power puncher. Alex Lepai, they say he's a power puncher. But look at their track record. Who have they beat that make you feel that? Like, some people shit on the Marcos Maidana and they say it's a bullshit fight and they're not paying for it and they're streaming it, whoop-de-whoop. But at the very least, I could tell you why I think Marcos Maidana is a good fighter or a power puncher. Look at the Eric Morales fight. Eric Morales' eye, he looked like a fucking cyclops. Like the dude from the Goonies, Rocky Road. Like his shit was fucked up. I mean, he made Victor Ortiz quit. He beat the shit out of Adrian Broner, who's young and supposed to be fly and flashy and all this shit. He stopped Josito Lopez. I mean, he has bodies. Jesus Sotocras, another fighter with the chin, granite chin. So when you say he's a dangerous puncher, I could corroborate that. Unlike Alexander Povetkin beating Hasim Rahman, who's washed up, doesn't prove me nothing to me, and beating Alex Lepai. Like, what bodies do they have? What have they done? So let me know what you guys think. I'm done. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video's Ego signing off.